Faith gives a man the ability to say, this season is hard, but it's not the end of my story. I don't understand everything that's happening around me, but I still trust God. I may be under pressure, but I will not abandon who I am. That is real strength. Not pretending everything is okay, not hiding behind the ego, not numbing the pain or running away from it. Real strength is taking your weakness to God and still choosing to stand strong in faith. What's going on, gentlemen? Welcome back to the Purpose Over Pleasure podcast with your host, Alex Payne. And today, I'm going to talk to you guys about something every man needs in his life, even if he does not always admit it. Today, I'll be talking about faith. Yes, not fake faith, not convenient faith, not the kind of faith we only talk about when life gets hard. I'm talking about real faith, the kind that shapes how a man thinks, leads, works, loves, suffers, and makes everyday decisions. Because here's the truth, a man is not strong just because he has money or muscle or confidence or even ambition. A man is strong when he has an anchor, and faith is that anchor. Without faith, a man can easily become controlled by his ego, his emotions, his desires, his pain, or his circumstances. He may look successful on the outside, but internally, he can be lost. Faith reminds a man that his life is bigger than comfort or pleasure or status or survival. It reminds him that he was created on purpose. So today I want to break down 6 reasons why faith is important in a man's life. But before I give you the 6 most important reasons why faith is extremely important in a man's life, I will share a personal story with you guys. About a year ago, I faced one of the biggest decisions of my life. To stay at my job as a police officer, or to take the biggest leap of faith and leave the force to follow my purpose in life. Now, to put things into perspective, I'll share some important details with you. The department I worked for was one of the best police departments in the nation. I had a great pay with benefits. I worked a lot of overtime and I made, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I worked at a beach city, which I loved. And I held some of the best collateral assignments or positions a police officer can have. I worked with great people, and the job was easy for me. Yes, it was dangerous, but it was easy. It was unpredictable, but I could do the job. I knew how to do it. And as long as I showed up and did my job right, my paycheck was guaranteed. It was a 9-to-5, a stable 9-to-5. Normally, the officers don't retire from departments like that. All I had to do is put in 20 years or so and my pension was guaranteed. At the same time, my wife was pregnant with our first child, who's now 8 months old. This is our first child, mind you. We're both first-time parents. We're both nervous, and my wife had to close up her business to focus on being a new mom. So the responsibilities and the pressure of providing for my family were on my shoulders. The decision I had to make was, should I stay at my 9-to-5 job that I know how to do with a guaranteed paycheck and benefits while we're expecting a firstborn child? Or should I take the biggest leap of faith and leave? I remember it like it was yesterday. My wife and I were driving home on a Sunday night and I just became so overwhelmed. And to be completely honest with you guys, I was scared. I had to make a decision. So I told her what was on my mind and how worried I was about everything, and the fear was creeping up on me more and more every single day. She listened to me carefully, and after I finished talking, she calmly reminded me that the Lord has gotten me this far in life, and He'll get me even further. All I had to do is stop trying to control everything around me and try to figure everything out on my own. She reminded me that I had to rely on Him and His ways, even though I could not see or understand where He was guiding me at the time. She reminded me that faith is exactly that. It's relinquishing control and relying on God to make a way. Because at the end of the day, His plans for me are much bigger than my own plans for me. So that's when it hit me. I've been down this road before. Maybe not this scary, but I've had many situations in my life where I was afraid and I argued with the Lord. But at the end of the day, I accepted His plans for me, only to find out years later that His plans for me were much greater than my own plans for me. So that day, while on the way home, I prayed in the car and I stopped trying to control everything on my own. I let the Lord take the wheel, to be honest with you. I told the Lord that I will follow His plan for my life and I will have no fear. After all, the Bible tells us like 100 times not to be afraid and have no fear. And if something is written in a book 100 times, there must be a good reason for it. Like the old saying, right? There's no fear but fear itself. So needless to say, a few months later after that, I officially retired from the force and I have now been a full-time entrepreneur and a new dad since last year. I took that biggest leap of faith. And if you, my listener, are in similar shoes right now, then this episode is for you. Or if you're just lost in life and are seeking direction in life, then this episode is definitely for you. So let's jump into this. And before we do, please click like, subscribe to my channel, and share this episode with another man because iron sharpens iron, and you never know who can benefit from this. All right, the first reason is faith is important because faith gives men purpose. A lot of men today are not necessarily bad men. They're just directionless. They're lost. They wake up, go to work, make money, pay bills, scroll their phone, chase distractions, and repeat the same cycle every day, every week. On the outside, they may seem fine, but deep inside, something feels empty. That emptiness usually comes from a lack of purpose. A man can have entertainment and still feel empty. I've been that man. He can have money and still feel lost. He can have attention and still feel disconnected from who he's supposed to become. That's why faith is so important. Faith tells a man, your life is not random. You're not here by accident. You're not just here to make money, chase women, buy things, and die. You were created with responsibility, with talents, and a calling. God placed something inside of you that is meant to be developed and used and given to other people. Maybe it's leadership, maybe it's wisdom, maybe it's your ability to build things with your hands. Maybe it's your voice or your story. Maybe it's the way you're meant to serve your family, your community, and other men around you. But without faith, a man can easily reduce his life to survival and simply chasing pleasure. And pleasure is not strong enough to build a meaningful life. Pleasure may entertain you, but it won't mature you. Pleasure may distract you temporarily, but it won't give you direction. It may feel good at the moment, but it will not answer the deep question is, why am I here? But faith helps a man ask better question. Not just, what do I want, but what is God calling me to become? Not just what feels good, but what is right. Not just how do I get more, but how do I become more useful to others? How do I serve others? That shift changes everything. Because a man with purpose lives differently. He stops drifting. He becomes more intentional with his time, his relationship, his habits, and his decisions. Purpose gives a man direction. Faith gives him the foundation for that purpose. The second reason why faith is important is that faith gives men discipline. Most men understand physical discipline. They understand going to the gym, waking up early, working hard, counting macros, and chasing goals. But there's another deeper form of discipline that matters even more. That's called spiritual discipline. The discipline to control your lust, to tell the truth, discipline to remain faithful, discipline to forgive others, discipline to keep your word, to do the right thing when nobody's watching. Now that kind of discipline is rare and it's hard. And faith strengthens it because faith reminds a man that his private life matters. A lot of men only care about what other people can see. They care about their image, reputation, body, money, and status. But faith deals with the hidden areas. Your motives, your thoughts, habits, your secrets, your character. The real test of a man is not who he pretends to be in public. The real test is who he becomes when there's no audience. Faith brings accountability into the private places. It reminds a man that even when no one is watching, God sees everything. That should not make a man paranoid, of course. It just should make him sober-minded. Because when a man believes his choices matter before God, he begins to live with a higher standard. He thinks before he speaks. He checks his pride, his ego. He stops making excuses for destructive habits. He becomes more honest about his weaknesses. He starts asking, is this making me stronger or weaker? That's where discipline begins. A man's life usually does not fall apart overnight. It happens through small compromises. One lie, one secret, one excuse, one bad habit, one relationship he knew he should not entertain, one emotional decision he refused to correct. And over time, those small compromises do enormous damage to his life. But faith helps a man see the destructive pattern before that pattern owes him. It gives him the courage to say no to the version of himself that wants comfort more than it wants growth. And that is important because a man who cannot control himself cannot lead himself. A man who cannot lead himself is not really there to lead anybody else. The third reason faith is important is because faith gives a man strength during hard seasons. Everyone will face pressure in life. It's unavoidable. It doesn't matter how confident, successful, tough, or prepared you are. Life will eventually test you. A man may lose money, he may lose relationship, he may face betrayal or experience failure in life. He may go through loneliness. He may doubt himself. He may feel like he's doing the right thing and still not seeing the results. Those seasons will truly reveal what the man is really made out of. Motivation is helpful, but it's not enough. Discipline is powerful, but even disciplined men get tired. Confidence is useful, but confidence can shake when the man hits hard times. But faith gives a man something deeper. Faith gives him belief that pain is not pointless. It helps him see that hard seasons can build wisdom, patience, humility, and strength. That doesn't mean that faith makes life easy. Faith does not remove every storm. It does not guarantee that a man will never suffer. No. Faith means he does not have to suffer without meaning. You know what I'm saying? That means that's a major difference. Because pain without meaning can make a man angry and bitter. Pain without faith can turn into anger, addiction, and self-destruction. But pain surrendered to God can become a source of true transformation in life. Some of the strongest men are not strong because life was easy. They're strong because they went through fire and allowed God to refine them instead of allowing pain to destroy them. Faith gives a man the ability to say, this season is hard, but it's not the end of my story. I don't understand everything that's happening around me, but I still trust God. I may be under pressure, but I will not abandon who I am. That is real strength. Not pretending everything is okay, not hiding behind the ego, not numbing the pain or running away from it. Real strength is taking your weakness to God and still choosing to stand strong in faith. Reason number 4 why faith is important is because faith gives men humility. This is especially important for ambitious men. And I'm speaking from personal experience here, fellas. When a man starts building, winning, achieving, earning, and gaining respect, this is when pride starts to come in. He can start believing that he is the source of everything. He'll say, my work ethic did this, my intelligence did this, my hustle and grind did this, my discipline did this. Now, of course, all of that matters. Effort matters. A man should work hard. He should develop skills. He should take responsibility, take risks, and be well developed. But faith reminds him that everything he has is still a gift. His health is a gift. His talents are a gift. His opportunities are a gift. His ability to work hard is a gift. The people who helped him along the way are a gift. Even the breath in his lungs is a gift. Now that perspective keeps a man grounded. Humility does not make a man weak, it makes him wise. A humble man can succeed without worshiping himself. He can lead without looking down on others. He can make money without making money his God, because money is not God. That's where the balance is important for men. Faith teaches a man to work hard while still surrendering to God. Do your part, take action, take risks, make your decisions, build every single day, but you also need to understand that you are not in control of everything. A lot of men are exhausted because they're trying to be God over their own lives. They want to control every outcome, every timeline, every relationship, every opportunity, every perception, everything around them. This is way too heavy. It's hard to live life like that. Faith allows a man to say, God, I'll take responsibility for what you've given me, and I trust you, but you take control. That's not weakness, guys. That's maturity. A man without humility becomes dangerous when he succeeds. A man without faith learns how to carry success without losing his soul. The fifth reason faith is important is because faith gives a man moral direction. We live in a world where standards are constantly changing every single day. Culture changes, trends change, people's opinions change. And if a man does not have a fixed foundation, he'll be shaped by whatever's the loudest around him. Social media will shape him, women will shape him, money will shape him, pain will shape him, his past will shape him, his pleasures and desires will shape him, other men will shape him. That's dangerous because emotions are not reliable moral compass. A man can feel angry and then justify his cruelty. He can feel lonely and then justify lust. He can be hurt and justify bitterness. Or he can feel successful and justify pride. That's why a man needs a standard higher than his feelings. Faith gives him that standard. Faith teaches a man that right is still right, even when it costs him something. Wrong is still wrong when somebody is not looking. Character still matters even when nobody claps. Integrity still matters even when nobody was watching. Truth matters even when culture tries to bend it. A lot of men do not lack information, they lack conviction. They already know what they should stop doing or what habits are weakening them. They know what relationships is pulling away from God. They know what conversations they need to have. They know where they've been dishonest or passive with themselves. You know, just like Bruce Lee said, knowing is not enough. You must do. So a man needs conviction strong enough to move him into action. You see, faith gives him that conviction. It reminds him that his life is not just about him. The way he lives his life affects his future, his family, his children, and the people around him. It affects the example he sets. It affects the legacy he will leave behind. That's why faith is generational. A faithful man can break generational cycles. He can be the one who says, this addiction stops with me, this excuses stop with me, the weak leadership stops with me, this bitterness and trauma stops with me, the lack of discipline stops with me. That kind of man does not happen or develop by accident. He's built through truth, obedience, and higher standards. The sixth reason faith is important is because faith gives a man endurance. Endurance is one of the most underrated masculine traits, fellas. Everybody likes intensity and motivation. Everybody likes the idea of being, the big breakthrough. But real life requires quiet endurance, the ability to keep going when the process is slow, the ability to stay faithful when nobody sees your work, the ability to keep doing the right thing when the results have not shown themselves yet, the ability to remain committed after the emotions, motivation wears off. That's endurance. And every man needs it because anything meaningful in life takes time. See, building a strong body takes time. Building a business takes time. Healing takes time. It took me over a decade to finally heal from my childhood trauma. Building character takes time. Developing faith takes time. Becoming the man of God that God called you to be will take time. There will be reasons and seasons where you will feel like you're behind. There will be moments where you question whether your effort is even working. There will be times when you see other people advancing faster than you. And there will be the days when obedience feels unrewarded. And that's normal. That's where faith becomes necessary. That's when it's tested. Faith helps a man keep showing up even when the evidence is not yet obvious. It reminds him that God often develops a man in private before using him in public. The hidden season matters. The waiting season matters. The preparation season matters. That quiet obedience matters. See, sometimes God is not withholding something from a man. He's preparing the man to carry it properly. Because if a man receives the blessing before his character is ready, that blessing can destroy him. Faith gives a man the patience to be developed. It teaches him to keep working, keep praying, keep learning, repenting, and keep growing. A man with endurance does not quit just because life becomes uncomfortable or hard. He understands that the process is shaping him, molding him. That is what faith does, fellas. It helps a man continue when quitting sounds easy and desirable. Now, I do not want this episode to just be motivational for you guys, because it's easy to say, have faith. The better question is, how does a man actually build faith? And here's some practical steps for you guys. Number one, start your day with daily surrender. Before you grab your phone and start scrolling social media, take a moment to talk to God. Pray something simple like, God, guide me today. Correct me where I'm wrong. Be my coach today. Strengthen me where I'm weak. Help me become the man you called me to be. It doesn't have to be a complicated, fancy prayer. It just has to be honest. Number two, read the word, read the scripture. A man cannot say he wants direction from God while ignoring what God has already spoken. It's written. Start small if you need to. Read Proverbs. They're quick and easy to understand. Read Gospels. Read a page a day. But feed your spirit consistently. Number three, audit your life. I want you to ask yourself honestly, what is pulling me away from God? What habit is weakening me? What relationship is distracting me? What am I hiding? A man can't grow if he keeps protecting the one thing that is destroying him. Be honest with yourself. Four is surround yourself with men who sharpen you. You need men around you who care about your character, not just your success. Men who tell the truth, men who challenge you, men who are also trying to become better are the men you need to surround yourself with. Because a weak circle will normalize a weak life. So choose your environment carefully, gentlemen. Number five is obey what God has already shown to you. A lot of men keep asking for clarity when they have not obeyed the last instruction from God. You may already know what needs to change, so start there. Faith grows when a man takes action on what he knows is right. So to finish off this episode, why faith is important in a man's life, let me tell you, faith gives man purpose. It gives him discipline, it gives him strength during hard times. It gives him humility, and it gives him moral direction. And it gives him endurance. Faith is not an accessory. It is not something a man adds to his life when things get hard. Faith is the foundation in a man. A man can build money, status, muscle, influence, confidence, success. But if his soul is empty, eventually he will feel the weight of that emptiness on his shoulders. The world does not just need more successful men. It needs more faithful men. Men who are more grounded, who are honest, who take responsibility. Men who lead themselves before trying to lead others around them. Men who do not fold under pressure easily. Men who do not sell their soul for comfort or pleasure or somebody else's approval. Men who are willing to ask God, make me the man you created me to be. So my challenge to you fellas is simple. Look at your life honestly. Is your faith active, or is it just something you claim? Is it guiding your decisions, or do you only turn to God when things are hard? Remember, God is not a vending machine, so stop treating him like one. Are you becoming the man God called you to be? Or are you becoming the man your comfort wants you to be? Do not just think about those questions. Respond to them. Write the answers out. And I want you to do, guys, I want you to pray today. Open the Bible today and read the scripture. Cut off the things that are weakening you starting today. Take one step of obedience today. Because faith becomes real when you start changing the way you live. That is all I have for you today, guys. I know it's a lot of instructions, but I want you to stay disciplined. I want you to stay grounded. And I want you to stay faithful. And become the man God created you fellas to be. God bless you all. And remember to live your life with purpose every single day. I'll see you in the next episode.